Okay, let's have a look at how we deal with expressions. So when we're adding expressions, multiplying expressions, and subtracting expressions. So some of these might seem very simple, but it's important to watch them just to make sure, because there's people make silly mistakes when they're dealing with expressions. So okay, so say the first one, we have to simplify the following expression. So simplify just means add up, subtract. Just make it a little bit smaller, simplify it. So it's at the moment we've got 4 terms in there. So could we simplify it down to something else? So when you're dealing with expressions like this, adding or subtracting, we can only add like terms. So I've got a 3x here. I can't add 3x plus 4y because they're not like terms. They're different. The variable here is x and the variable here is y, so I can't add them. But I can add 3x and x, and I get 4x. And I can add the y's. I have 4y minus y, so I get 4y minus y is 3y, so plus 3y. And so I've simplified it. I've done everything I can to make it a little bit simpler, and I can't do anything else. In the second one, we've got 2x squared plus 4a plus 7x plus 4x squared. I can only add like terms, so I've got 2x squared and 4x squared. I can add them. I can't add that to 7x because this is an x squared and this is just an x. So I can only add the 2x squared and the 4x squared, and I get 6x squared. Then there's nothing else that I can add. I've got plus 4a, so I got plus 4a, and then I've got plus 7x. There's nothing else that I can add in there. And if you notice in both of these are expressions in 2 terms, or in 2 variables, sorry. So we've got this expression has variables x and y, and this expression has variables x and a. In the third one, I've got 2ab plus 3ba minus a squared b plus ab squared. Now, all of those 4 terms might look the same, but they're not. I've got 2ab and I've got 3ba. Both of these are the same. I can add them because a multiplied by b is the same as b multiplied by a. So these are the same. These are like terms. I can add them. A squared b is not the same as either of these. This has got an a squared in it, so it's not the same. I can't add that. And ab squared and a squared b, they're totally different as well, so I can't add them. So the only things that I can add in this expression are the 2ab and the 3ba. So 2ab plus 3ba was going to give me 5. And it doesn't matter if I write ab or ba. So 5ab. And then I have this minus a squared b. So minus a squared b plus ab squared. So when you're adding or subtracting expressions, you can only add or subtract like terms. Okay, let's have a look at these ones here. So these are when we're multiplying expressions. So the first one, I'm asked to multiply. I've got 3x multiplied by x plus 4. So 3x bracket x plus 4 means multiply 3x by x plus 4. Plus 5 bracket 3x minus 2 means multiply 5 by 3x minus 2. So we're going to do each bit separately. So 3x multiplied by x will give me 3x squared. And then 3x multiplied by 4, well, 3 by 4 gives me 12. So I have plus 12, and then I have the x bit. Plus, so the next term, it's plus 5. And this is important because when you're multiplying, if that was a minus, for instance, a minus by minus would give a plus. So I have plus 5 times plus 3x. 5 by 3x is plus 15x, and then plus 5 by minus 2 is going to give me minus 10. And now look at it and see if we can simplify it. So it says expand and simplify. Expand just means to multiply it out, and simplified, add up like terms. So I've got, is there any like terms there? Well, I've got an x squared, I've got an x, I've got an x, so I can add up these 2 middle terms. So I'll end up with 3x squared. 12x and 15x is plus 27x minus 10. So I'm only adding like terms. Okay, this one, we've got minus y bracket 2y minus 3x minus y bracket xy plus 3x. So I have to multiply out these. I've got to expand this term, this part of the expression here, and I've got to expand this part of the expression. So minus y multiplied by 2y is going to give me minus 2y squared. Y by y is y squared, and it's a minus because of that minus. And minus y times minus 3x, well, it's going to be a plus because it's minus by minus. So minus y by minus 3x is just going to be plus 3. And I can either write xy or yx. It doesn't matter the order that I write them down. Okay, now we move on to this part of the expression. So minus y by xy. Well, I've got minus y times xy, so it's going to be minus. Y by y will give me y squared, and then I've got the x bit. So I've got minus x squared, oh, no I don't, minus x y squared. So the squared bit goes with the y because it's minus y by y gives y squared, and then I have the x part. And then I've got minus y by plus 3x, so it's going to be a minus. So minus y by plus 3x is minus 3xy. And again, it doesn't matter if I write xy or yx. And now I look and see if there's any like terms. Can I simplify it a bit? And you can see I've got 3xy and minus 3xy. So plus 3xy minus 3xy. So I can add them and I get 0. So I'm left with minus 2y squared minus xy squared. So minus xy squared. And then one thing that I could do to simplify this, you wouldn't have to, but sometimes it's a nice way to tidy it up. If you look what I have, I've got minus 2y squared minus xy squared. I could factorize out the y squared. So we're going to be, shortly we'll be looking at videos where we're factorizing. So say in this one, if I factorize out the y squared, I'd end up with y squared times, so y squared times what will give me minus 2y squared? Well, y squared times minus 2. And y squared times what will give me minus x? Well, minus x. So I end up with y squared multiplied by minus 2 minus x. So maybe it's a little bit tidier. So you can either stop there or you can go one step further and go to there. Okay, the third one, we've got x minus 2 squared. So this is a very important one. So I'm going to do this over here. So we've got x minus 2 squared. So when you're squaring, and people often make mistakes on this, when you're squaring it means you're multiplying by itself. So x minus 2 squared does not mean x squared minus 4. Sometimes people make the mistake, they say, okay, I'm squaring it, so I just square each part of it. That's not what you do. X minus 2 squared means x minus 2 times x minus 2. So we've got two brackets that we're multiplying together. So I take everything in the first bracket, I'm going to multiply by everything in the second bracket. So I'll write this out the long way. I'm going to multiply x by x minus 2, and then minus 2 by x minus 2. So x by x is x squared. X by minus 2, we have minus 2x. Minus 2x again, so minus 2x. And minus 2 by minus 2 will give plus 4. So I've expanded it, and now I'm going to see if I can simplify it. So I can't simplify it because I've got minus 2x minus another 2x. So I can simplify that to get x squared minus 4x plus 4. And now there's nothing else that I can add. I can't simplify that any further. Okay, so that was the third one. The fourth one then, we have x by x minus 2 by x minus 1. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to move to another page. So we have x, I'll do it here. So the fourth one, so we have x in brackets by x minus 2 by x minus 1. So we have to multiply three different terms here. It doesn't matter the order you multiply. If you think of the numbers, say 2, if you have to multiply 2 by 3 by 4. When you're multiplying those three numbers, it doesn't matter the order. You can go 2 by 3 is 6, and then 6 by 4 is 24. Or you could go 3 by 4 is 12, 12 by 2 gives 24. Or 2 by 4 is 8, 8 by 3 gives 24. So it doesn't matter the order that you multiply. As long as you multiply all three, you'll get the same answer. So it doesn't matter the order I multiply these. As long as I multiply all three, I'll get the same answer. So I'm going to multiply the x by x minus 2, and then I'm going to multiply the answer by x minus 1. So I'm going to go x by x minus 2. So x by x gives x squared. And I'm going to keep it in brackets because I'm going to multiply it by x minus 1 at the end. So x by x gives x squared, and x by minus 2 is minus 2x. And now I still have to multiply that by x minus 1. So x squared by x gives me x cubed. Well, I'm actually going to write it out the long way. So it's going to be everything in this bracket now by everything here. So it's going to be x squared times x minus 1 minus 2x by x minus 1. So x squared by x, x cubed. X squared by minus 1 is minus x squared. Minus 2x by x is minus 2x squared. And minus 2x by minus 1, it's minus by a minus, so I'm going to get plus 2x. And now I can simplify it, so I've expanded it. Now I'm going to try and simplify it. Is there any terms that I can add? So I have x cubed, I've got minus x squared, minus another 2x squared. So I can add them together. I get minus 3x squared plus 2x. Okay, and if we just have a look at it, we've ended up here with a cubic polynomial that has a degree of 3. The coefficient of x cubed is 1, it's the number before here. The coefficient of x squared is minus 3, and the coefficient of x is 2. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5 then, what was that? So we have 2x. This is one that people often make a mistake on. We have 2x, and then we've got bracket 4x plus 3 squared. Okay, so the mistake people often make on this is the first thing they do is they multiply by 2x and then they square it at the end. You can't do that. This is saying we got to square 4x plus 3 first and then we multiply by 2x. So I'm going to write that out. That's 2x multiplied by, and it's 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3. So we got to square it first. Okay, we can't multiply by 2x, go, okay, I'm going to write, let me see. I'll just put it down here. So 2x by 4x plus 3 squared is not equal to 2x by 4x gives me 8x squared, 2x by 3 is plus 6x, all to be squared. So this is not equal to that, and that's a mistake that people often make. So we write it out like this, and now what I can do is I can square the brackets first, so I can multiply that by that. So I'm going to end up, and then multiply the answer by 2x. So it's going to be 2x times, I'm going to put this in square brackets, so everything in this bracket by everything in this bracket. So it's going to be 4x by 4x plus 3 plus 3 by 4x plus 3. So I just put it in square brackets to say kind of, it just makes it a little bit tidier. So I've got 2x, and 4x by 4x is 16x squared. 4x by 3 is plus 12x. 3 by 4x is plus another 12x, and 3 by 3 is plus 9. So I've expanded the middle bit. Now I can simplify it by adding up like terms. So I have 2x by, I've got 16x squared. 12x and 12x is plus 24x, and then plus 9. And now I can multiply by 2x. So I got 2x by 16x squared. Well, 2 by 16 is 32. X by x is x cubed. 2x by 24x. 2 by 24 is plus 48. X by x is x squared. And 2x by 9 will give plus 18x. Okay, so let's see the next one. So we've got, and then next one, number 5, it's quite similar to the last one. So it's one that people make mistakes on again. So it's number 6. We got 5 multiplied by 3x plus 1 squared. So this is not equal to, and this is the mistake that people make. Sometimes people multiply 5 by 3x plus 1 and then square it. So get 15x, 5 by 3x is 15x plus 5 all to be squared. This is not equal to that. That's a mistake that people often make. So 5 times 3x plus 1 squared is 5 by 3x plus 1 by 3x plus 1. We have to square it first and then multiply by 5. So it's 5 times, and I'll square it first, so I'll put it in square brackets. So it's going to be everything in here by everything in here. So it's 3x by 3x plus 1 plus 1 by 3x plus 1. So we have 5 times 3x by 3x is 9x squared. 3 by 3 is 9, x by x squared. 3x by 1 plus 3x, 1 by 3x plus another 3x, and 1 by 1 is 1. So we have that. So we've expanded. Now let's simplify the middle part, the square brackets. So we've got 9x squared. We've got 3x and 3x we can add. So we got plus 6x and then plus 1. So 5 by 9x squared is 45x squared. 5 by 6x is 5 6s are 30x, and 5 by 1 is plus 5. So remember, when you're told in a question to expand, it means to multiply, and then to simplify just means to add up any like terms. when we're adding up like terms, we can only do that. We can only add like terms. We can only add x's to x's or y's to y's or x squared to x squared. Be careful of something like this. When it says 5 times 3x plus 1 squared, square it first, then multiply by 5. It's a mistake that people often make.